What's going on, you guys? TBR here, back yet again with another King of Fighters All-Star video, and in today's video we are going to be discussing the latest lady character to be added into the King of Fighters All-Star for the 4th anniversary with the EX Volume 4 banner, of course that being Lady Choi. So in today's video, like we are apt to do here on the channel, I'm going to give you my first impressions after about 24 hours or so of playing around with her. Please don't look into that statement any more than it needs to be, but I digress. We are going to be talking about this character today and just giving you guys a little bit of footage that I was able to collect yesterday playing around with her. But before we go ahead and get into all of that and more, make sure if you guys haven't already done so, you smash that like button and subscribe, and let's go ahead and get into the video. So the first thing I want to discuss here, of course, is going to be the typing and the leadership ability. So Lady Choi is going to be a green defensive type. Of course, this is going to be important for things such as reviving Hell's Dungeon and so on and so forth. So very good typing. This is also going to make her a little bit tankier, something that you will notice in things such as Guild Raid, which is very important for her. So very good stuff. When it comes to the leadership ability, she is going to increase EX fighters attack by 30% and obtains 5% power when killing an enemy. So basically this is a very, very good time attack leadership ability, but outside of that there's going to be very isolated use cases for it. However, time attack is more than enough to make it useful, and therefore this is going to be a pretty darn good overall leadership ability for that specifically, but elsewise not much to write home about, right? So let's go ahead and talk about the kit. So when it comes to Lady Choi, this character's kit is very, very good. If we take a look here, she's going to have that 30% power charge rate increase. You'll love to see it. She's going to have an increase to her crit rate and her crit damage rate, which is really, really good. She's going to have continuous damage enhance on her bleeds, which we'll be talking about. She's going to enhance her strike skills, of which almost every one of her skills outside of, I believe, the S1. I believe the S1's a grab. The rest of them are classified as strikes. So really good. But then, of course, the most important thing is always going to be those exclusive cores. So let's take a look. So Be Careful on the Streets at Night is going to have bleed and fear immunity, which is fantastic for her, especially the fear immunity, specifically in things such as any type of PvP, really, really useful. She's also going to have a 30% chance to apply fear herself to the attacker for 2 seconds when attacked on a cooldown of 14 seconds. So this isn't going to be a blanket fear, but it's still going to be able to have that 30% chance to fear the attacker. So really good that she has that on her kit. She's also going to deal bleed damage equal to 150% of attack for every 1 second. Well, for 1 second, every 0.2 seconds, sorry, to the target upon landing a skill, guard included. This is really, really good for her damage, which her damage is going to be the main focus of this video because it's downright impressive, specifically for a lower awakening character. Now, decreasing her damage received by 80% when attacked by a bleeding target is also really good. That's an 80% blanket when it comes to covering up some of that damage. So being able to protect her a little bit, really, really good. 80% is a nice percentage. So very good core on Be Careful on the Streets at Night. She has a lot here, but it continues to get better with Charming Fingernails. So she has a 40% chance to reset the active skill cooldown upon landing the Lower Vein Stab EX skill on a cooldown of 13 seconds. So basically she's going to have a 40% chance to go ahead and reset her skills if she lands this guy right here, the S1. So that is really, really good. Very nice little core. She increases her attack and defense by 25% for 5 seconds upon landing a skill. This stacks up to 6. So really solid right there. That's fantastic. Being able to stack that, that's going to give you a lot of ramp. This character in general has a lot of damage ramp. So that's really, really good stuff. This is one of the better parts for her damage ramp. And so very nice to see that there. And it has a very generous stack count on it as well. She's also going to become immune to damage for 2 seconds when her HP is 35% or less on a cooldown of 14 seconds. This immunity save is okay. It's a short duration, so it's not anything super crazy. We've seen better, but it's still nice that she has it, and she also has hyper armor, so really nice that she's going to have multiple ways to protect herself, especially considering the fact that this is, as we mentioned, a defensive style character. Then she's going to gain 25% power during 20 or more combos on a cooldown of 30 seconds. Also really good, this character is not going to have any problem whatsoever firing off finishers. That is one of the best parts of this character in general, is just her ability to loop finishers and stall out the clock. Really nice stuff there. So this character, fantastic cores, but it continues to get better when we talk about the skills, right? So we're gonna go ahead and start off with the S1 here. She's going to apply bloodshed to all enemies for 14 seconds. A 14-second bloodshed. This is phenomenal. The amount of time on here is ridiculous. It is the second tier of bleed, so you got the bloodshed there. And with this, it's on all enemies. Super, super strong. Very good application. We're starting to see these dots apply themselves longer and longer. It's gonna get to the point where you're just gonna be able to apply it. It's applied for the rest of the fight in this game. It's at a certain point, if it goes on long enough, it's getting ridiculous, but really, really good. Damage, well, let's see, decreases cooldown of ultimate move by 5 seconds upon landing a skill. So basically this right here is going to be very similar in a lot of ways to a character like Luke, right? So basically, decreasing the cooldown of your ultimate move by 5 seconds upon landing a skill is extremely powerful in general, but particularly in time attack. Other ways that it is useful, however, and there's many, I'm not going to name them all, but in Guild Raid, this right here is going to be incredible for stalling the clock. So really what you're going to see today is I do have an Inferno run against Nightmare Geese on this video, and it's just ridiculous how much damage this character puts up, but we'll get to that. Again, timestamps in the description, but let's keep going here. Listen to what I'm saying because it's important. But decreases the cooldowns of the ultimate moves by 5 seconds. I mean, really what you can do with that in things like time attack, I don't think I need to stress. So that's incredible. Really good stuff. This S1 is fantastic, and I love some of the effects there for this character. Now, on the S2, we are going to be able to move while using this move. Now, this is something new for this character. It's an homage to Choi, of course, so really good stuff to see. You aren't necessarily going to need to use it too often, but it's really nice to have it as an option, and there will be instances, plenty of them, there where you would want to, so really good. It's not as useful as what she has on the core finisher, which we'll talk about, but I digress. You also increase your attack by 85% of your defense for 6 seconds when using skill. I think at this point, Netmarble's just going to continue to raise the multipliers for this conversion until we decide that we want to use defensive stones, because they keep gradually raising it and we just never take them up on that offer, nor do we ever have a reason to. So at some point, maybe we'll get like 300% conversion or something, but 85% is really good. And as much as I like to joke, that is a fantastic line there for her. Now, increasing the target's damage received by 40% for 6 seconds upon landing a skill, and dealing bleed damage equal to 5.5 times, so she is going to have explosion. She's also going to increase the target's damage received. Awesome stuff. This character really, and a lot of characters in general recently, unless they're going to be getting kind of new experimental things, are getting pretty much the best of everything we've ever gotten. And this character is no different. So being able to have these things here, really good. This character just continues to get better and better the more you look at her kit. This character is incredibly strong. So next up here on the S3, this is going to be pretty standard. You're going to have your interrupt with your hyper armor. One thing important to note about her, she only has standing and airborne interrupt, so she doesn't have grounded interrupt. So keep that in mind. She isn't going to be able to interrupt when she's knocked down. And then she's going to have a PvP exclusive of a 50% chance to remove the target's hyper armor, damage immunity, or critical hit shield upon landing a skill. I don't think I need to explain to anybody out there that plays PvP a lot how good that is, so we'll just leave it at that. This character is stacked. Now, no pun intended. Now, on the core finisher, this is going to be a very unique one as well. This is another one where we can move around with it, and it's very useful. Particularly, as an example, Nightmare Geese, you can use this offensively and defensively, but of course there are going to be many instances where you can do both of those things using this, because you can get out of the way of something and be pretty much immune to whatever they're throwing at you during the animation. That's really good. But you can also, of course, use it to do damage and chase the opponent. Awesome stuff. It also has an effect, however, of gaining 15% power and increasing your attack by 15% for 10 seconds upon use. This, coupled with that S1, being able to lower your cooldown on your ultimate moves, basically means what you're going to do with this core finisher, and something you'll notice that you can do, is when you fire this off, your skill icons are still available, right? So say for instance, you're at 2.85 bars and you just need that little 15% to get yourself to the next finisher, the next 3 PG finisher. What you can do is you can throw this out in, like, say, Nightmare Geese, for example, since that's what we have right now. You can throw this out, kind of move yourself around, do damage, get out of the way, whatever you want to do. But once you gain that 15%, you went up to that 3 bars, all of a sudden you have that 3 PG available, and you can just sit there and tap it, and while you're still at the end of the animation for this core finisher, like right at the end where she just stands back up and comes out of the tornado and all that, then you can just hit that, and you are basically going to be able to continue to loop finishers and things like that extremely efficiently with this character, again, especially because of that S1. So all of this stuff works together in tandem to work very, very well. This character is one of the best clock stoppers in the game. Against Nightmare Geese, I'm able to elongate fights to about 6-7 minutes solo. That's extremely, extremely good when it comes to being able to output tons and tons of damage over time. So this character has that in spades. Now, when it comes to the finisher for the 3 PG finisher, we'll talk about it. I actually need to just go over here and look at it because there is an effect here, and I'll show you guys. So basically on this finisher is very, very good. However, it's kind of lacking in my opinion as far as the animation goes. It's got a really cool intro, but then the rest of it's kind of like whatever. But you obtain 12% power when using this. This is another way to gain power, right? So this character's theme is finisher, finisher, finisher. She is a clock stopper of the highest regard and one of the best ones we've ever had. Now, with this character, as you guys can probably tell, I'm a fan. I think this character is incredible. And you guys can see the build here. This is just what I've been using. I've really just been wanting to test out the quick mode set, so I haven't had a chance. I'm sure you guys, and we'll talk about it here at the end with my community post yesterday, know that I haven't had a lot of time to mess around with this stuff too much over the course of the past 24 hours due to a car accident. But we'll talk about that at the end. I don't want to get too much into that right now. But with this stuff, when it comes to the build, this is what I've been using. The quick mode set so far has been really, really strong. I'm sure there's going to be way better. She does have that bleed explosion, so I am waiting to be able to get that rush set. You could always go ahead if you really want to. Probably what would be better, I haven't really tested it too much yet, is the Gintama set. If you guys got it, which I do have it, it's somewhere in here. Oh, there it is, right in front of my face. So the Gintama set increases your bleed, so you could use that for your explosion, but I've just been using this for fun. I also have not been able to play the Fugitive set with her yet, which is something else I think would probably be fun for her, but I don't think it's going to be great synergistically. This character wants to fire off finishers, lots of finishers at all times, so you're not necessarily always going to have the bars to make that happen, or at least efficiently. So I would almost prefer this one, because this one here, being able to deal, or upon, I gotta slow down. Too much coffee. Increasing attack by 17% and dealing additional damage equal to 100% of attack when landing an active skill without needing to have those bars or anything like that. That's what is down here, really. This part right here is really good. But again, I just have been testing this set just for testing purposes, and there is a ton of room for growth from what you're going to see in this video. I haven't even begun to test this character at this point. So other things here, this is the options I'm using. She has a ton of strike skills. I'm pretty much sure everything on her kit is a strike skill outside of the S1. Yeah, so that's why I'm using that there. It's really good. You can use a 1.9 second cooldown option or whatever. Speaking of, I have the Gintama option here as well. And then of course I'm using her finisher. When it comes to the stones here, these are the stones I've got. Now this is just here for stats. This is obviously not tailored for her, but it does give her this little increase here, so that's nice. And it gives the extra defense, so it is decent, but it isn't great. This guy here though, fantastic for her, so I've got that there. And then I'm just using the stones that came alongside the EX Volume 4, so that's what we got there. So that's going to be the build I'm using in today's footage, so you guys know kind of what's going on. But when it comes to this character, I do want to talk about something very important, right? I'm talking to all of you new players, intermediate players, right? So if you're somebody just getting into this game and you're wondering, okay, I need a character that at minimum investment, I'm going to be able to one key almost anything, right? So say for instance, you're somebody that, you know, in the past couple months, maybe with Street Fighter, for example, although Street Fighter, you probably have the Street Fighter characters, but follow my analogy, you know what I mean. But basically say that you're somebody that's new to the game, you just got into it, and you're still wanting to one key things such as Inferno or Lunatic or so on, right? Irregardless of the dot. This character right here, you're going to see it in today's footage, does so much damage, like so much damage, and is able to stall the game out so well that if you were to pick her up even at like an A1 or even an A2 or whatever the case may be, I would argue try to go for the A3 just so you can get the stones, because that's really where you're going to see this character shine, because I don't even have explosion stones on here. I don't have any options right now in order to do that would be better than what I've got, really. I don't have a lot of stones right now, really, at all, so I'm just gonna have to work with what I got. But if you guys have those, like the Bleed R stones for her explosion, be really good. But back to the topic at hand though, as a new player, if you were to have this character, you'd probably be able to do that very easily on minimal investment. So I think that as somebody that is still needing a lot of damage on their account, particularly for things such as Guild Raid, maybe the Immortals, any of the Immortals really, this character is going to be able to do obscene damage to. So I think that this character has a lot of reasons to consider her. She is very good. Time attack is one of the most important things in the game, and she's going to be very good for that. This character is going to be very good at just overall DPS, maybe the best DPS in the game to this point. We don't know yet. I still am waiting to see. However, given the fact that I have a janky setup here at best, and this character is putting over 5 billion damage up in Inferno by herself at A3, I think you guys kind of see where I'm coming from, right? So I think that this character for veterans is kind of just whatever. You know, she's going to be really good for them, and you might really like her, but for veterans, you don't necessarily need her, right? So you could just skip her and be okay for the most part, but for anybody else, I think this character offers a ton of value as a budget option. And by budget, what I mean is you don't need to max her out to get to the point where you're going to be able to just obliterate things. You can do that at minimal investment. So I think that this character, while she is going to be extremely heavy on power creep, in my opinion, I love this character. Her design is incredible. Some people say it's simple, but that's okay to me. A lot of times you want to keep it simple. Keep it simple, stupid. You ever heard that? Well, this is one of those instances with any of these redesigns. Try to keep it simple, because the more you try to do with it, sometimes you'll screw it up and lose kind of the plot. You'll lose the overall feel of the character, and I feel like they did a really good job with this one. And I'm not just saying that because of the horror aesthetics or anything like that. I'm in love with this character. I think she's incredibly good, and I just like the design, and she's just fun. So that is my opinion on Lady Choi. She's getting a thumbs up. This character, fantastic. I'm going to show you guys the footage. Like I said, I do have a few timestamps in there, but you guys can check it out. I am going to go ahead and get out of here, though. I want to let you guys know, however, thank you all so much. I had made a community tab post the other day, well, yesterday, and let you guys know I was in a car accident. I'm still a little bit out of it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm fine. Like, I got checked out and everything, but we've had record storms here. Like, apparently we made national news, which is crazy for the amount of rain we've been getting here. And yeah, long story short, you guys can read the community post, but somebody tried to cut me off, and it was either I go into oncoming traffic and potentially die, or I go into the ditch and have less of a potential of dying. And I chose the ditch because hydroplaning, when you get cut off and you have to pump the brakes, not a good time. And yeah, it was not a good day. Car hopefully will be all right. All that really matters is I'm all right. Nobody got hurt or anything like that. That person didn't end up hitting me, but they sure as hell didn't stop either. So it is what it is. But I do appreciate you guys. I might have a mild concussion. It's been kind of touch and go on that. We'll see. But anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know I appreciate everything. But anyway, you guys, I will see you all in the next one. Enjoy the footage. Thank you all so much for the well wishes. Let me know in the comments section how you feel about Lady Choi. Sorry if I seem a little bit out of it again, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. You all take care. Peace.
ちょいとちょいとちょいとちょいボン 敵のバディに炸裂だ。ああやるでやんす、快感でやんす、竜巻疾風山、嫌な野郎ぶちのめし、今だ勝利の雄たけび、気分の旦那よ見ておくれ、優勝すれば愛の一番にカニ食べ放題、ちょいと笑えばこの世は笑えば、ちょいとちょいとちょいとちょいボンゲ鍛え抜かれたこのマッスルで敵の背後にハイジャンプ、おーいえここでやんす、ギリギリ前でやんす、超クレツさん、辛い修行に耐え抜いてやるぞ王者のポーズ、そんな硬派な足でも素顔はあとってもお茶目なロンリーKOF で優勝すれば待望の自由の身になれるでやんす。しかもスポットライトを浴びて究極の脇役から花の主役になれるかも。そうなればもうお手紙ちょうだいなんて言わなくても次から次へとファンレターやラブターがもういっぱい届いて、キャワイイ女の子からモテモテということは憧れのアテナさん、マイさん、ユリさん、マコちゃんからも夢のようでやんす。ちょいと遊べばみんなパラダイス、ちょいと楽しめハッピーハッピーハッピー、ちょいが一番身のひぞまずけ、ちょいとちょいとちょいとちょいとキングオブファイターズファンの皆様、あっしが KOF の花の脇役輝く助演団優勝ジョイボンゲでやんす。あっしと一緒にこの温度に乗って究極の舞を楽しむでやんす。あ、それちょいと踊ればこの世はブラボー、ちょいとちょいとちょいとちょいボンゲ磨き抜かれたこの爪を敵のバディに炸裂だ。ああやるでやんす、快感でやんす、竜巻疾風山、嫌な野郎ぶちのめし、今だ勝利の雄たけび、気分の旦那よ見ておくれ、優勝すれば愛の一番にカニ食べ放題、ちょいと笑えばこの世は笑えば、ちょいとちょいとちょいとちょいボンゲ鍛え抜かれたこのマッスル敵の背後にハイジャンプ、おーいえここでやんす、ギリギリ前でやんす、超クレツさん、辛い修行に耐え抜いてやるぞ王者のポーズ、そんな硬派な足でも素顔はあとってもお茶目なロンリーKOF で優勝すれば待望の自由の身になれるでやんす。しかもスポットライトを浴びて究極の脇役から花の主役になれるかも。そうなればもうお手紙ちょうだいなんて言わなくても次から次へとファンレターやラブターがもういっぱい届いて、キャワイイ女の ゆりさんとまこちゃんからもあ夢のようでやすちょいと遊べばみんなパラダイスちょいと楽しめハッピーハッピーハッピーちょいが一番みのひぞのすけちょいとちょいとちょいとちょいと
カンティニュー